To date, they have tested 1.5 million different yeasts, molds and funguses, and 1,000 of those are known to cause disease in mankind. Scientists and doctors over the world today claiming that fungus plays a part in the cause of disease in humans.
What if stubborn health issues, psoriasis, eczema, athlete's foot, even cancer were linked to fungus? Scientists now believe fungal infections play a bigger role in disease than we ever imagined. From skin irritations to life-threatening conditions, fungus could be the hidden culprit keeping you sick. Worse, many unknowingly reinfect themselves through their homes, diets, and daily habits. That's why Barbara O'Neill is here to reveal why fungus is a serious threat, and more importantly, 5 powerful steps to eliminate it for good. If you're tired of recurring health problems, this could change everything. Let's get in. But first, let's understand some really important things about fungus.
What I'd like to look at now is fungus, and by looking at fungus, we also address the germ theory. Fungus is a microorganism. Microorganisms, by their very word, are microscopic and they're living organisms.
Microorganisms are everywhere. They're in the air, they're on our skin, on our clothes, on everything we look at. There are microorganisms, they're everywhere, they're inside the human body. There are 10 times more microorganisms in our human body compared to cells.
And the largest concentration is found in the gastrointestinal tract. There are 10 times more there than anywhere else in the body.
And whenever cell damage happens, these microorganisms have the ability to change roles. You see, if the environment changes, there all changes, and whenever cell damage happens, these microorganisms now become the cleanup team. Now the question is, why must we be cautious of fungus? Scientists and doctors all over the world today are claiming that fungus plays a part in the cause of disease in humans.
Now, to date, medicine has
documented 1.5 million different molds, yeasts, and fungi, and 1,000 of those are known and acknowledged to cause disease in human beings. But why don't we hear about this more often? Because certain fungi play a huge role in modern medicine. Take penicillin, for example, a life-saving antibiotic that comes from a fungus. One of the problems with medicine today is that it's difficult for this to be acknowledged because some of the most popular drugs actually contain fungus, as we see with antibiotics. As I said, the human body can probably cope with 2 courses in a lifetime. But when a lady comes to me and says her little 3-year-old is sick, and I start to investigate why this child is sick, she tells me that her baby had 22 courses of antibiotics in the first year of life. Wow. What is the definition of insanity?
to do what you've always done and expect different results. If something is not working, then we need to step back and have a look at the big picture. And that's why it's essential to acknowledge the vital role that these play in the life in the human body and life on planet Earth.
Fungus can find its way into our bodies through 4 main routes. Knowing how this happens helps us take the right steps to avoid it and stay healthy. So let's see.
So why would a fungus or a yeast be in the human body?
The first way is through fungus-based medicines like antibiotics. Fungus may be in the human body because the person has taken antibiotics. How many people say to me that they get thrush after taking an antibiotic? That's because a mold has just entered the human body.
How can mold get into the human body other than if someone takes an antibiotic?
The second way is via ingestion. It can enter the human body through ingestion. It can enter the human body through food. Antibiotics are ingested, and mold can also enter if it is present on food. That's why, if you ever see mold on any food, you must not touch it because it is highly toxic. The third way is through the skin. If there's a moldy orange in your fruit bowl, please do not touch it. Use a pair of tongs to pick it up, or put your hand in a brown paper packet and pick it up with the brown paper pack up and screw it over, then put it into the bin. Mold can enter through the skin, so it's important to be cautious. However, the fourth way fungus enters our body is through inhalation. It can be inhaled, which is why, if there is any mold in your house, my suggestion is to never use bleach on it. Bleach and mold together create an incredibly toxic mix. My daughter in America told me a story from the newspaper about a woman who died while cleaning her moldy bathroom with bleach. When they found her, every window and door was shut. Most people, when they clean, keep windows open or leave the room. But many people do bleach with mold there. The windows are open or they're not there for a long time. So how can we clean white vinegar? White vinegar is one of the best if you have an area that's moldy. My suggestion is make sure you've got a mask on, make sure your skin is covered, and had a spray bottle with straight white vinegar in, and just spray it and then leave the room. You can come back 15 minutes later because it will be dead. And then you can wipe it up if you spray and wipe immediately. The dust given off can go in through your skin and you can inhale it.
But also important to ring the plumber or ring the builder and find out why it's moldy, because they're just opportunist organisms. You will find them whenever there's filth, you'll find them whenever the sun and the air aren't getting into the area.
Before we get into the 5 steps to eliminate fungus, like which foods to eat and avoid, Barbara reveals some eye-opening facts about the hidden dangers of carpets. Carpet is often a breeding ground for germs. You can mop wood, you can mop tiles, you can mop lino, but you cannot mop carpet. So I say, if you like carpet in a room, it should be very short pile, and it should be often vacuumed.
You may have seen the SBS series a few years ago called Is Your House Killing You?
Dr. Peter Dingle, a PhD from Perth, he majors in that series. And he has probably about 7 shows on those DVDs of different homes where people were very sick. And in most of the cases, it was a mold factor. And he'd get the team in. They'd find out why there was mold. In one house, every child's toy, every book in the bedroom, it had mold spores on it. And they found out there was a leaking tap underneath, something like that. Now let's learn about 5 ways to eliminate fungus out of our body.
The human body's designed to heal itself, and it'll heal itself if you give it the right conditions. So what are the right conditions?
Number 1, starve. How do we starve the fungus? Well, it's very important to acknowledge its favorite food. Its favorite food is sugar. And just about everything that you buy in the supermarket has sugar. It also, of course, multiplies when it is exposed to yeast. So this is your Maritz, your Weitz, your Primit, your yeast breads, all your sugars, yeast spreads, and also grains. Drastically reduce grains because they can commonly be infected with alox. In Australia today, all grain is tested for apoxin. The grain we get is not totally free because otherwise they're none and get through, but a small amount. And of course, if the gut's working well, a small amount can be handled. Now let's talk about aspergillus and apoxin. Aspergillus is a type of mold commonly found in soil, plants, and stored grains. Some species produce altoxins, highly toxic compounds that often contaminate foods like nuts and grains, especially in warm, humid conditions. Long-term exposure can lead to liver damage, immune suppression, and even cancer. Barbara also shares research on apoxin and its potential link to diseases like cancer. Dr. Colin Campbell, and he was asked to go to the Philippines because children were dying of liver cancer between 8 and 10 years of age. Liver cancer. Now, this is something that only usually gets in adults, and at that, alcoholics. And he found the common denominator was peanut butter. Every jar of peanut butter that he tested had apoxin. Moldus that gives off apoxin is a xylus, and a xylus can grow on grains. Peanuts are a common one.
And the mold waste that is given off by aspergillus is aflatoxin.
Apoxin is the most cogenic substance that has ever been tested. And these children that were dying of liver cancer, he found that the apoxin was in every jar of peanut butter. He presumed that the poorer children would be dying, and the wealthy children would not be dying. And he found the opposite was true. The wealthy children were eating what Time magazine called in one article they did, the meat-sweet diet. In other words, high meat, high dairy, high sugar, high refined grains. Whereas the poorer children, they were eating a high vegetable diet, little bit of soy, little bit of fish, and an unrefined diet. Number 2, kill molds with these herbs. The good news is that there are herbs that will kill fungus, kill mold, and will not kill you. One is garlic, it's well known. Another is olive leaf extract. Olive leaf extract contains a plant chemical called alupin, and it is strong antifungal.
One lady said, "Oh, I take a little bit of that every day." I said, "I would not advise you do that. That's like taking a little bit of antibiotic every day to prevent a cold. No, keep it for when you need it."
Also, grapefruit seed extract. Grapefruit seed extract is a very strong antifungal. And if you do use it, my suggestion is only a few drops, 3 times a day. You can buy it in a little container called Traveler's Friend. It's called Traveler's Friend because many people travel with it. They just put 1 drop, say, in a bottle of water, and it will kill off any bacteria or fungus that might be in there. Another one is pau de arco. It's a South American herb that is quite strong antifungal. When people are looking at eliminating yeast from the body, I say it's a good idea to work with a professional, a naturopath. But what I advise is maybe 2 weeks on this, 2 weeks on this, 2 weeks on this, 2 weeks on this. Body gets used to things, so it's good to alternate. Third step to eliminate yeasts. Balance in gastrointestinal balance. Very important to bring back the balance in the gastrointestinal tract. And so, that is taking a probiotic. When the antibiotic comes in, or the different drugs that kill off this, it's important to replace that gut flora. When you flood the gastrointestinal tract with the good guys, they bring the candida yeast back under control. So, the balance is important. Fourth step to eliminate yeasts, alkalize the body. Number 4 is alkalize. Yeast and fungus love an acid environment, so it's very important to alkalize. Very simply, the most alkalizing food you can take is your vegetables. And of the vegetable kingdom, it is the dark green leafies. That's why spirulina, wheatgrass, green barley, green smoothies, they're all very popular because they are very alkalizing in the body. The 5th step is to take ormies. And number 5 is orms. This is orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements. It's a mineral supplement that produces minerals in a superconductive form, so it's very easily utilized by the body. And research in America today is showing that it is able to heal DNA damage. We've seen many people conquer yeast presence in their body, even to the point of conquering cancer, by implementing this simple 5-step program. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more eye-opening health tips.